Factorising is the opposite of expanding. So we know how to expand a binomial. So let's just look at an example of expanding first. If I had to expand x minus 3 times x plus 5, I know that you guys are all really good at that. So you do x times x, which is x squared, x times 5 giving 5x, minus 3 times x, minus 3x, minus 15. And then you would collect like terms. So you just do x squared plus 2x minus 15. So that's expanding. Factorising is the reverse. We want to go from here backwards. But there's a problem. If we want to go backwards, we have to be able to split this term into the correct two numbers that are going to give us the brackets. Because I could split 2x into 1 plus 1, 10 minus 8. There's so many different options. And only one of them is actually going to be the correct one that works. So we need to find a rule. We need to find a way of how we're going to go backwards, how we're going to create these numbers so that we can group in pairs and factorise. So we need to find a pattern. First of all, when we look at those numbers, it has to give plus 2 when you collect them. So they must have a sum of 2. Is everyone happy with that? That must be true, or else I've changed the question. Okay, so they must have a sum of 2. What else can I see about them? So I know that it has to be 5 minus 3, okay, because that's what I did when I expanded it. So they definitely have a sum of 2. What's 5 times minus 3?
5 times minus 3.
Negative 15.
X squared. Okay. Oh, yes.
Okay, when I multiplied them, I got this answer.
What?
Okay?
Crazy.
So these numbers here, when you added them, they gave this answer. But when you multiplied them, they gave this answer. That's going to be our hint. That's going to be how we're going to work out which numbers work. Because just knowing they have to add to give 2, there's too many answers. There's an infinite number of answers. But there's only one that's going to add to give 2 and still multiply to give minus 15. Alright? That's how we're going to try these questions. So, if I was doing this question in reverse, it's kind of easy because I already know the answer. But say this was the question and it said factorise x squared plus 2x minus 15. So I know they have to sum to give 2 and multiply to give minus 15. Does anyone remember the fancy maths word for multiply? Starts with P. Starts with P. Product. So sometimes we call this PSF. P stands for product, S stands for sum, and F is for factors. So these words, PSF, stands for product, sum, factors. Right. So I know that they had to multiply or have a product of negative 15. I know they had to have a sum of positive 2. And I want to know what factors actually work. Now the factors of 15 are pretty easy. It's only 1 and 15 and 3 and 5. Okay? And because it's a negative 15, they have to be opposite signs, don't they? Or else it won't multiply to give a negative. So it could be 15 and minus 1, or minus 15 and 1. Or 3 and minus 5, or 5 and minus 3. There's only 4 different factors that work.
Sorry, like, what does that say next to that?
Product, sum, factors.
Sum, okay. That's not a sum.
Up here now? Product, sum, factors.
I'm not happy.
So, what are all the product, all the factors? So normally we just think this, but we're going to write down. What are all the factors of 15? So let's write them down. Minus 15, what are all my factors? 15 times minus 1. What else? Minus 15 times 1. What did you say? 3? Minus 3 times 5.
What are you doing?
Negative 5 times 3. Negative 5 times 3. Is there anything else?
You just told yourself to shut up.
That's it, isn't it? There's no other factors. Is everyone happy with that? So we've just worked out all the factors of negative 15. together gives 2. So 15 plus minus 1. What's that?
I don't know.
16.
14.
Yeah.
Minus 15 plus 1. Minus 14. Minus 3 plus 5. 2.
Oh.
Minus 5 plus
Negative
3.
2.
Negative 2.
Now look.
This one is the only one that has a sum of 2. Is everyone happy with that?
Yes.
It's the only one. So the factors that I want out of all of these is minus 3 and 5. Okay? They are the numbers that I'm going to split that middle term into. So up here, that's the hard bit. That's the tricky bit, working out the factors, working out which one works. Once you've got that, this step's really easy. I start by taking my positive 2x and splitting it into minus 3 plus 5. Or 5 minus 3, same thing. Okay, so the x squared I leave alone. Instead of having 2x, I'm going to write minus 3x plus 5x. Is everyone happy with that step? So those numbers were the tricky bit that I had to work hard to find those numbers. And once I found them, I've just put them in there. And then I've got a minus 15. Now this, you already know how to factorise. Okay, you did this in the last lesson. It's just grouping in pairs. What's common in the first two terms?
X and X.
X. So I have x outside of x minus 3. What's common in the second two?
5.
5. So I have plus 5 outside of x minus 3. X minus 3 is now my common bracket. So it's going to come out the front. X minus 3 is out the front, leaving an x here, plus 5. Which is good, because that's what I knew the answer had to be in the first place. Alright? So it's a bit complicated. Factorising is definitely trickier than expanding.
Yeah.
Yes, Abby?
Will we ever end up having to work that out for like x squared, you know, like that?
Well, if you expanded it out, guess what the answer would be?
Do that.
X
yeah.
squared plus 2x minus 15. Which is great. If you're really not sure, you could expand it out and check. Okay? But you don't need to, because it would take you back to the answer.
That is the worst thing
Yes.
I've ever heard.
Would it be a really long process if there's like a lot of factors?
Yes, it would be. So you've got to start. So you have to start being sensible and looking for things. You'll get better at it as you go along. So let's try another one.
Miss? That,
Yes.
Oh, you just got rid of it.
That was the best oval.
What's wrong?
Look at that oval. Go back.
They drew
That
a
is
negative.
perfect.
This?
Yes.
Wow, that's really neat for me.
No,
I know, it's good.
The other one was.
Okay. Yep.
Oh, just skip it. That's okay.
Yep. Any more questions here?
When it says 5x
Quiet.
when it says 5x minus 3, where did you get the 3 from? Like,
Where? Here.
no, from yeah, to that side.
This 5. I took 5 as a common factor out here, leaving x there, and 5 as a common out here, leaving negative 3. Remember doing the common factor? Okay. Alright, let's do one more example before I let you try one. Let's look at question 2a off the sheet. So it's h squared minus 3h minus 18. So you can see there's no way we're fitting this working out on this little sheet here.
Yeah, get rid of it.
Okay, so let's just jot down our P, S, work out that F. So what does my product have to be? Do you remember what my product was? What do they have to multiply to give?
Oh, it's minus negative 18.
Negative 18. They have to have a product of negative 18. What do they have to add to? When I add them together, what have they got to add to?
3h.
Negative 3. We're just looking at the numbers for now, but yes, they will have h's on them.
8.
Alright, so we're going to find the factors that work. So let's work out the factors of negative 18. There's going to be more of them this time. Yes.
Great.
So, factors of 18, 1 times negative 18, and negative 1 times 18. What else have I got? What else goes into 18?
9.
9. So I've got minus 2 times 9, and 2 times minus 9.
3 and 2.
Okay, 3 times minus 6, and minus 3 times 6. Is that it?
Yes.
It is. The way I check is I go, okay, 1, 2, 3, does 4 work? No. Does 5 work? No. Does 6 work? I've already got it, I found them all. So as soon as you get to a number that you've already got, you know you found all the factors. That's kind of cool. So only one of these is going to add together to give -3. Now looking at it, I wouldn't even bother considering 1 and 18. They're just too far apart. So I probably wouldn't have even bothered writing those down. So which ones have a difference of 3? Okay, just looking at it, which one's definitely got to be the answer? It's got to have the 3 and the 6 in there somewhere, doesn't it? Because they're 3 apart. Okay, which one is going to give -3 as the answer? 3 and -6, because this one will be +3, won't it? So this one here is the only one that has a product of -18 and a sum of -3. So I want 3 and -6. What did I do with those? You remember? What was the whole point of that? Because I've got to do something up with this now. What am I doing up here? Why are they helpful? Yep. I'm going to replace this, aren't I? Lawrence? I'm going to replace this -3h with 3h minus 6h. Callum?
Yes.
The whole point of doing this is so I can work out how to split this term so I have 4 terms that can do grouping in pairs. Because I can't group in pairs when there's only 3, because it doesn't work. So I've got h squared. I'm going to split -3h to be 3h minus 6h. Is everyone happy with that? Sophia? And then the -18 is on its own. So all I've done is I've split this middle term into 2 parts. Yep.
Can you do the first question?
No, we're not doing question 1 first because it's harder. We're doing question 2 first, it's easier. We'll do question 1 in a little while. Okay? What do I do then? Grouping in pairs. What's the common factor in the first 2?
3.
H. H outside of h plus 3. What's the common factor in the second 2?
6.
Careful.
-6.
Take the negative out. Sophia, focus. -6. What's common now? H plus 3. And what's left from here? H. And here? And I'm done. Alright, your turn. You're going to try question 2B.
Yes, okay.
Actually, no, you're trying